Everybody with me. Fingers back up. I pledge allegiance to my flag. Man, look at your thing. Let us know you care. To my flag. I will rise above. Doing what I love. I will make that dough. I like that call. Let's do it again. I will make that dough. Doing what I know. And those who laugh. And those who laugh. To kiss my assets. Okay? You guys have been great. Thank you very much. God bless you. Take it out. You guys are great. Thank you very much.
I first met Victor at a conference he was giving here in South Florida, where I live. After the conference, we learned we had several things in common. For one, we were both from large Puerto Rican families, and secondly, neither of our families had very much money when we were growing up. We spoke about the possibility of one day working together and kept in touch thereafter. A couple of months ago, I got a call from Victor. He told me that he was going to be the keynote speaker at the National Conference for the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. He asked if I would take my camera and accompany him from his home in Georgia up to Philadelphia, where the conference was to take place, and document his experience, sort of like a weekend in the life of a motivational speaker. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, the self-improvement market is a billion-dollar industry. That's billion with a B. And I was always curious about the motivation of a motivational speaker. Did they really care whether you succeeded or failed, or were they in it just for the money? So the Friday before he was to speak at the conference, I flew up to Georgia and met Victor at Atlanta's International Airport, where he was also flying in from a speaking engagement in another city. From there, we drove to his home in Alpharetta, and that's where our story begins.
When he comes home, he likes to spend time alone and work in his office, but he does have a lot of energy, and after a week home with him, I'm ready to send him off again. A little Victor goes a long way, because he's got so much energy.
Anyway, when I come home, this is what I like to come home to. It's a real quiet neighborhood, a far cry from what I'm used to, so if you'd asked me many years ago would I ever had something like that, I wouldn't have believed it.
I guess it's good when he's home for a lot of time, but then he gets kind of annoying, and then he goes away and comes back.
I would say since the kids were born, he's been traveling more than 50% of the time ever since then, so I'm used to that.
There's not noise. It feels like there's a huge part missing, because my mom's really low-key, my sister's really low-key, and I'm pretty low-key, but my dad just sets off the balance from everyone else in the house. So it's a lot different having him in the house than when he's not here.
When I'm done and I'm on the road, one of the things I don't want to do is really see anybody. That may sound surprising, but I don't really want to see anybody. I don't know, I think because you're plugged in so much, you're always talking to people, you're always hanging out with people, that when you get home, it's just you're done.
He does like to be home. That's true. But he still is talking a lot. He's on the phone, or he's, like I said, bothering us.
When we first moved to Georgia, I'm one of these guys that actually like to cut my own lawn. I like to trim my own hedges. That's kind of one of those mental things you do. It's kind of relaxing. So one day, car pulls up, beautiful BMW, and the man rolls down his window. Now, keep in mind that I have my baseball cap on, a T-shirt, some shorts, and some sandals. And the guy rolls up right there as I'm trimming the hedges, and he pulls down his window and says, "Hi." So what do I say? "Hi." Anyway, He says, "Do you know who lives here?" Now, you know who he thought I was, right? He thought I was the gardener. So anyway, I remember reaching in my head inside, going, "Hi, my name is Victor Gonzalez. I'm one of your new neighbors." And I could see his face go, "Wow, there goes the neighborhood."
I've never seen him live speaking, no. Because public speaking to me would be terrifying. So I think that if I'm in the audience, I'd be nervous for him, So I don't even want to, do that. You know what I mean?
I would think you don't talk so much at home that
really, I want to pay him to be quiet.
My family's from Puerto Rico. I was born and raised in Chicago, as you know. And I always get the question, "Victor, do you have a green card? Do you need one to be here?"
What you see out there is how he is at home, basically.
What do you think I say to that? No. But I do tell him I have one. It's called American Express.
He acts a lot more different around the house. He's not as calm as a regular dad. Most dads will be, just mellowed out more. He goes around the house singing, dancing. You could see the motivational speaker in him, because a motivational speaker would not act as calm as most dads. When I go to my friend's house, it's just not the same. He's not a normal dad, that's for sure.
There's a reason I'm going through all these cards, because I want you to understand something. These are all the ideas that I think are good. My horse's voice, because again, I've been speaking for 2 weeks on the road. What do you expect? Anyway, so these are all the different things I write down. And so as I go through all this, you're probably saying, "Man, that's a lot of stuff. Are you going to speak about all this?" No. The sad thing is that all this is now, I take the best stuff of here, put this to the side, and then I whittle it down to 5 cards. Well, now in this case, I'm down to 6 cards, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, knowing how I speak, because I talk a lot, now that I got 6 cards, I take the best from there. Phase 2 of the process, I now whittle it down to 1 card. This is a 45-minute keynote. Part of my success when it comes to speaking, as far as memorizing speeches so it comes across naturally, you often see a lot of speakers use notes. If you use notes, you suck. As a speaker, you can't control how the crowd's going to react, but you can control how you perform. And a speaker is a solo job. It's one of those things where it's you. And there was a guy, his name is Larry Winger. He said something important. He said, if you're nervous about speaking, you don't know your content. Because if you have to think about it, you don't know it. In my mind, during the night, I'll just think about the speech over and over again. And I'll be able to run on pure adrenaline from here to tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. After I finish the speech tomorrow, you will see me unplug the battery so hard that I will crash right after that. That's how I usually work, but that's how I do it, folks. I try to shoot for the 80-20 rule. 80% of my content has to be fresh. Something new, something exciting. We just go from there. But 20% I always keep in because you need it. It's related material. Like if it's a college market, they always want to hear about my college experience. You got to throw that in there because, like any good speaker, what do you want to do? Relate to your audience. And when you're speaking to a bunch of college students, if they see you come across as a corporate guy or a business guy, they're not going to listen to you. They're just going to shut down on you, and that's it. No more conversation. So what I try to do within the first couple of minutes is just kind of, relate to them.
So I pulled down the bingo card, and I'm looking through this, looking at the different majors. And the first major I look at, it said civil engineering. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't want to be nice to people, so I said no. So second, it said, the second one was mechanical engineer. And I said, man, I don't want to fix cars either. Right? And then the third one I saw was aerospace engineers. And I said, who wants to go to outer space? Not me. Then I saw electrical engineering, and the light bulb went off, right?
When I first started doing the high school and the college market, what I started doing was a standard speech, start. Tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you just told them, your basic construction of a speech. And I wasn't having any fun, and I guess my audience wasn't having any fun because nobody was booking me again. And that's usually an indication. If you're not getting rebooked, at least one time again, that's a problem. So if I'm not going to make any money, I might as well just have some fun doing this. And I started messing around and having fun with my audience, but still delivering some content. And it was a hit. And at that point, I got the first inkling that maybe I'd finally found my style.
Now, I need a volunteer. You right there. Bow tie man. Now, Manny, I'm going to tell him a story. And the only way this story is going to work is that if you help me. Okay. Are you willing to help me, Manny? Sure. All right. Good role model. Good example. Now, before I tell him the story, I need you to do me a favor. You ever see the Beverly Hillbillies? Yes. You did see the Beverly Hillbillies. Yes. How many folks by show, clap your hands, saw the Beverly Hillbillies? Excellent. Manny, do you remember that big old nasty hound dog they had? You do?
Yeah. Zig Ziglar will tell the hound dog story, and that's about, man's walking down a lonely road. In the distance, he sees this farmhouse, and he decides to go in the farmhouse and ask for a drink of water.
As the stranger approaches the porch, he notices that right next to that old man rocking back and forth is a big old nasty hound dog laying right next to him, making this sound.
The stranger asks the old man for a drink of water. Old man goes inside, gets a drink of water, comes back outside.
Now, he's drinking water and they're having polite conversation, but in the background, all you hear is what?
Finally, the stranger asked the old man, said, "Excuse me, sir, what's wrong with your dog?"
The old man looks at the dog, looks back at the stranger, and with a straight face he says, "Son, my dog is laying on a tack." He doesn't know what to say. So they continue on with the polite conversation. But the pain is getting more excruciating, apparently. It's getting more excruciating, apparently. So finally he says, "Excuse me, sir, but if your dog is laying on a tag and it hurts him that much, why doesn't he what? Get up."
Old man responds and says, "Son, you just don't understand. The tack hurts the dog, but not enough to make him want to get up and do something about it, right?"
You ever talk to people who all they do is what? Whine. Instead of doing something, what do? Whine. Instead of getting up and doing something, they what? The next time somebody whines, this is what I want you to hear. Because everybody got that. Give Manny a hand. You'll be great, Manny. All right. This is it.
It's about 6:30 in the morning. It's early, man. But here we go. Even though the event's later on tonight, why do I get up this early? Because flight delays, cancellations, I get paranoid about people. So, I'm going to do it early, man. This morning got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, reviewed the DVD, the actual clip from last year, which is actually pretty good to go through that, and actually see the video from last year, what I did, what worked and what didn't work. So as I was laying out the outline today, it finally started coming together. So if last night I was at 60%, as far as confidence level, it's up to about maybe 80-85%. So by the time I hit the stage, it should be well defined. So when I get on the plane, I think what I'll just do is kind of mull it over in my head. But man, I'm tired as hell. Getting tired. I'm the youngest of 6. I moved away. Everybody's still back there in Chicago. And so I'm the one that moved out. And like I said, as far as speaking, nobody in my family's ever heard me speak. My mother's never seen me speak. She's seen me on video, but she's never seen me speak live. None of my sisters or my brothers, none of them really comprehend what I do, I think, sometimes, because it's so foreign to them. Again, it's the typical 9-to-5 job, and what I do is not 9 to 5. I mean, it's just so far from it. In the 4th year of high school, I can honestly say, is when I finally came out of my shell. And, and I really just enjoyed talking to people. I wasn't as, I don't know, reserved or introverted anymore. I just started talking to people, started blabbing a lot, which probably set the stage for a speaking career. I think I enjoyed my last year of high school the best. Graduated 3rd in my class. Check it out. 3rd in my class. And I was feeling pretty good about that till I got to college. Then I realized what a high school education in the Chicago public school system was really worth. Not much. I got to college, man. Holy shit.
One day I go to my first class, and it was filled to the brim. You ever see those classes that have 300 to 500 people in the room? I've never seen anything like it. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm looking at the instructor take the podium. The instructor comes, he takes the podium, and he begins writing stuff on the board. And I'm looking at this like a deer caught in a headlight, because I have no idea what he's writing. Now, have you ever been in a situation where you don't know what's going on? And you start looking around to see who else doesn't know what's going on, right? Because you're like, am I the only one, right?
I had to drop all my classes in the first semester because I couldn't keep up. I mean, I was failing almost everything, because, I was competing with kids that came out of the suburbs, man. They came out of Catholic school, private schools, and I couldn't keep up. It's almost like you come from the neighborhood, you're like, yo, what up? And they're like, how you doing? Wham, right there, bam, we just encounter a difference in culture. And if it wasn't for a guy named Octavio Mateo, this guy represented an organization called SHIP, which is exactly the same group I'm going to speak to tonight. It's called the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. And Octavio was the director of the organization on campus. Octavio happened to be Puerto Rican. And in the freshman class, when I joined, I was the only what? Puerto Rican. So he's like, we can't lose him, I mean, we were strapped for cash, man. Around that time, my father decided to leave my mother. And so you can imagine, after so many years, we know what that did to the family. So when my father left my mother for another woman at that age, we didn't have a real source of income. My sisters were actually, helping my mother with the bill because my mother, was now on disability because of a bad back. And so, we needed money, man. We needed money, and we needed it bad. And so it was hard to go to school knowing that the family needed money, and here I am getting C's in college. And I told my mother, that's it. We're quitting. I'm done. And Octavio, a SHIP counselor, actually came into our neighborhood. Que atrevido. He actually came into our neighborhood. He had guts. He actually came into our neighborhood, went to my house, knocked on the door, and told my mother, your son, in so many words, had to what? Finish the race. And sure enough, my mother said, I don't know how we're going to do it. God will provide the what? Way. And I will light about 100 candles a day just to make this happen. If you know Puerto Rican families, you know what I'm talking about. And so I am here because one guy from SHIP named Octavio Mateo actually what? Went back, picked somebody up, and helped him along. I think one of the biggest, if I had to say what is that one shocking thing about this business is that if I look at 9 out of 10 motivational speakers, 9 out of 10 of them are broke, not making any money, and lying about everything they're talking about. They're just juicing the people up, doing the whole, as we call it, you fake it till you make it, because they're faking it all the way, folks. They don't have a lot of money, and they're not doing a lot. And I'm always blown away by the fact that they want to give you advice on how successful you should be. So the next time a motivational speaker wants to speak to your organization, you know what you should do? Ask them. Tell me about your financial situation. Are you living right? Tell me how well you're living. Now, you may think that's a little personal, but you know what? The guy's going to stand in front of you, try to motivate you, tell what you should be doing. Damn it, should he be doing it as well? People hustle in corporate America. People hustle in and around corporate America. These guys that are out there speaking today, a lot of them are just hustling. That's all they're doing. And I think it's sad when you take people's money when they don't have that much left, under the pretense that you're going to help them, when you yourself can't help yourself. I think that is bullshit in a big way. If you want to learn the business, if you want to be a motivational speaker, if you want to be a professional speaker, whatever you want to call it, here's what you got to do. Here are the basic steps. Have a good story. Don't lie to people. Have content. And if you want to really duplicate what successful people are doing, start mimicking them. I always say, Zig Ziglar, my man, biggest virtual mentor I have. What I mean by a virtual mentor, I never paid the guy, never met the guy, but everything he does, I read, I go to his websites, I mimic, I copy, I try to emulate that. Do I steal his information? No. Take what they do, make it better.
I'm guessing when it rains it pours, like metaphors pour out of my mouth and out of my pores. Why do the poor praise the Lord? Why the rich get richer and take credit for everything that they've acquired to work for? I'm guessing for my tangible objects to pour faith into, whether white, black, Italian, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, or Hindu. As a people, there's already so much we've been through. I'm guessing some people think they're better than the next crew. I'm guilty because I've done it too, thinking I can challenge you because I'm fresher than you.
You know what I just realized? Remember I said I was going to leave my computer bag at home? You know what I left in my computer bag? All my notes. Remember I told you I was forgetting something? Holy shit. I left all my notes at home. Oh, this is going to be interesting tonight. This is what happens when you forget your notes at home. This is exactly what happens when you forget your notes at home. Use a barf bag to write your speech out. And if the speech doesn't go well, then you use like this. Got it. All right, good. And I can see it from the front. When I look at my crowd, if I'm losing them, this is the obvious sign. That's the obvious one, right? The other one is that they start, looking around. Or they just start, not really reacting to anything you're saying. At that point, you got to either get them to do something or tell them an engaging story where, something that really captivates, that relates to them. So what I typically do is I do about maybe 5 minutes of content, and then I always insert humor.
And it took me, listen to this, 5.5 years to graduate. Give it up. Thank you. Wait a minute. I tell this to everybody. I graduated with a 2.63 grade point average. Give it up. Wait a minute. Oh, that's exactly what I wanted to see. See, I can tell the positive people from the negative people. Positive people said, man, he graduated. Negative people are like, I'm not clapping for that. That's because you're negative. See, you think it's a C+. I'm a positive brother. It's a B-. See the difference in that? Yeah.
That's the barf bag. That right there, I know you can barely read it, but it's an outline of my speech tonight. Now, if you hired me to speak and you were seeing this right now, you should be worried. Don't worry, it'll be fine.
I know him. He's famous.
This is the type of treatment you get on Delta. Thank you.
See ya.
American Limo. Hey guys, which service is better?
They're all Tall Girl Limousines.
All great.
Tall Girl Limousines.
All right. You had to put your mother in the car.
They're all great. Oh, my mother. Tall Girl Limousines, home. Right, my friend.
Yeah, but I need to go downtown. We're not up there.
Yeah, but not that's not the best company. This is the best company right here. The best company won't be up there.
How much does it cost to go to Marriott downtown?
It's supposed to be $23.
Okay. Are you guys here already?
Yeah, me? I got 5 guys out there right now.
So can I have one of them? When I get my bag?
When you get your bag. Get your bag. Get your back.
What's your name?
Angel, like an angel.
Angel? All right, man.
McCoy's in the business.
All right, Angel, save me.
I tried.
All right, man. I believe you. Hispanic.
And 240 is the other guy.
He looks Boricua to me.
I'm good.
A lo mejor cubano.
Okay. Jim's going to do the 1220.
Dominicano.
What's the driver's name that's bringing Tom?
I'm going to go with Dominican.
For one of the biggest limo companies, the real biggest limo company in Atlantic City.
All right.
There's only two of us.
All right. Well, you're going to drive the biggest Puerto Rican motivational speaker you ever drove. Okay.
Well, guess what I need?
What?
I need a movie.
There you go.
A mini commercial. Talk to me about money. Okay, gentlemen, get ready for a Boricua experience.
All right, man. Oh, are we getting you? You're driving us.
You getting my car? This is my personal car. Well, my name is AJ Gilby. I've been in the limo business for 23 years. I've been a personal driver